Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing this evening? Probably going to get started just a couple minutes early because I'm always testing to see if my live streams are working. And so I like to start the class just a little bit early just to make sure everything is working. So let's test everything and let's see how we are doing. So let's see there. See if we're live streaming. All right, yes, looking good. We got sound. And let's see how we're doing okay. So we are on our streams. So we're on, let's check the YouTube, the big one. That's what.
Hey, if you're a real estate agent, would you rather
Stop right there,
if your business kept on employees?
there. Let's make sure we're live streaming there. And here we go. All right. All right, very, very good. So live streaming, looking okay. Right, very good. So always testing everything out, ladies and gentlemen, just to make sure everything is working correctly. And so one more thing, just to double check. Edit destinations, and it says we're streaming. Very, very good. Everything is streaming correctly. Get a new tab. Let's double check that. And sure enough, very, very good. Everything's working nicely. All right, very good. Now, for some reason or another with the live streams, some of my students still have a problem clicking onto the link, but I just did it. I clicked onto each of the links, and here I am looking at myself live streaming. So for some reason or another, if the links are not working, I don't understand why. Because I've done a lot of work to make sure that everybody can get in with just the links that I sent you. So if you called me, I sent you a text. In the text, I sent you a live stream class that you can click onto and come right into my classes. And so I just tested these links just to make sure everything is working, and does appear that everything is working. So we're going to get started in 1 second. I just want to double check one more thing. Open this link in a tab, make sure this is working. All right, very, very good. All right, so it's live streaming, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not finding me on the live stream, I'm just not sure as to why. Because I do see that it is live. All you have to, oh, by the way, click onto it. If you're in the YouTube, you see that live stream, it says live. Then what you want to do is click live. All right. And if you're looking for it and you don't see it, it's there. And so what you have to do, it says live on YouTube, little red button, click onto it, and that'll bring you into my live stream. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, easy. All you have to do is click onto the links. And if you have Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, it automatically takes you right to my live stream. But the YouTube is where a lot of my students have a little bit of problem. So the YouTube doesn't take you directly into it. It'll take you to my page where you'll see my live stream, little box with the LIVE in red. You click onto that, and then that brings you into the live stream. I know it's modern technology, ladies and gentlemen, but everything is working. So I just wanted to start a little bit early just to make sure that everything is working. I personally like Facebook. I like watching myself on Facebook. That seems to be a better source for me to make sure that my live streamings are working. And so that's what I do to test everything. So welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I do this show every Monday, 6 p.m. Now, this show, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get a large audience. So I don't have 1,000 likes or subscribers or followers and so forth like that. It's not the purpose of this show. The purpose of this show is an effort that I put out every Monday to help those who are doing some research and looking for a real estate school to sign up with, but just not sure which school to sign up with. So I offer this free class as a resource for you to do a little bit more research in your decision making. Get to know me, see my style, see my teaching techniques, see if I am acceptable to your learning skills. Not everybody's made to be an instructor, ladies and gentlemen. I know many instructors that probably should not be instructors, but in any event, this is the purpose of this live streaming show that I do every Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to need a lot of energy to be running a business. And that's what you're going to be doing. And I run several businesses, and today I'm going to do some shout outs. Going to shout out to some family, some friends, and to those who are paying it forward and helping others in real estate. So again, the shout out's not for no reason, ladies and gentlemen. So pay attention. There's a lot to be learned in this next hour with me. And it's going to be a very productive hour. Let's start with some of the shout outs. First of all, in real estate, ladies and gentlemen, I represent some communities, large communities. I represent a large Filipino community. I represent a large Israeli community. I represent a large Islamic community. Not that I don't represent others. It's just that I have lots of members of these organizations and these groups that I represent, and I'm very, very proud and happy to do so. So at this moment, I want to give a shout out to my friends, families in the Philippines. I want to say hello to Jackie and Anton. Hi, guys. How are you? I want to say hello to DJ, JR, Mark. Guys, how are you? Always good. Thank you very much for tuning into the show every Monday. Love it and love you guys. I want to say hello to my beautiful wife, Joji, who's now in the Philippines. She's taking care of some real estate matters. And so I want to say a big happy Valentine's Day to my love, Joji. Love you, love. Happy Valentine's Day. In the Philippines, it's already Valentine's Day. It's tomorrow for us here, but in the Philippines, it's already Valentine's Day. So a big shout out to my beautiful wife, Joji. Happy Valentine's Day, my love. I love you. Okay, now closer to home, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a shout out to Rich and Lisa Small. All right, they didn't know. Nobody. Lydia was probably the only one that knew I was going to give a shout out, but everybody else had no idea that I was going to give them a shout out today. So Rich and Lisa Small, I want to give out a shout out to Lisa Bortner and a shout out to Lydia Calix. Now, here are individuals, ladies and gentlemen. They're all in the real estate business. They're running a real estate business their own, and they're learning to pay it forward. And this is what I do. This is what one of the secrets to my success. Paying it forward, teaching others everything that I can, giving them everything I have to help them better themselves. And this has paid dividends for me over the years, ladies and gentlemen, learning to be charitable, learning to not be selfish, learning to help others has paid dividends for me over the years. I've met so many people, wonderful people, and my life has been on such a wonderful journey since I've come of age. I didn't always have this lesson, didn't always know how to do this, but when I learned to start being charitable and start paying it forward, then the rewards in life started coming to me. So individuals like Rich and Lisa Small, they are with Realty Mark, my friends, Ray and Bill at Realty Mark, two businessmen who are growing a great brokerage. I've sent many agents over the years and helped many agents at Realty Mark become good agents there. And I'm happy to continue to do that. Love my relationship with a lot of the brokerages that we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of brokers send their people to me because I am the renowned school. I'm the school that everybody seeks. We'll talk about that, and I'm very, very proud of that. But they know that if they want good quality real estate agents to get a good quality start, then my school is the beginning, and it should be. So Rich and Lisa, they have what they call the Rich Small Team. And as I said, they are affiliated with Realty Mark. And they also have a Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen. And their Facebook page is Small Talk, Real Estate, and More. And what they're doing is they're growing their group. And this is what we do in business. Business doesn't start overnight. If you build it, they will come. But what will happen is you have to get the word out. You help one person, then you help another, then another. And this is how you start as a real estate agent. You start as a real estate agent by helping one person. Then you help another, and then you help another. And then before you know it, you're helping many, many people and your business is growing. So when you start a Facebook page or a Twitter feed or a LinkedIn page, you have to grow it. It takes a little while to get your group and your name up there and recognized. You got to put a lot of work into it. Everything you do, you have to put a lot of work into it, ladies and gentlemen. And the folks that come to this class, this live streaming in my class, they are all entrepreneurs. They all have a different blood going through their system. They don't want to be an employee anymore. We'll talk about that. They want to have their own piece of pie. They want to create something, some kind, maybe a dynasty, who knows? Starts with a small business, and then before you know it, it's a multi-million-dollar operation. But that's what anybody that's here today in this class right now, then you have a different blood going through your system. You're an entrepreneur and you're looking for better. And that's what you're doing right now. And you do know that you have to put some effort into it. Doesn't come easy. So Rich and Lisa are growing their Facebook page, Small Talk, Real Estate, and More. And I encourage you to just to go and visit their page, ladies and gentlemen. And what I like about them is they're paying it forward on their Facebook page. They're teaching you about home inspections, home warranties, the appraisal process. And anytime somebody's willing to teach others, then I'm always willing to do a shout out for them because they are paying it forward to help others. So a shout out to Rich and Lisa Small over there at Realty Mark. You guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work. I'm glad to help anybody I can for your team so that you guys can grow your business and help others in that process. Lisa Bortner is a new member, doesn't even know that I'm giving her a shout out. Doesn't know, she's not watching the show right now, most likely. But word will get around that I gave her a shout out. And she just gave me a student, and I'm glad to help her first student. So Lisa's now in the process of growing her team. See, this is what will happen. You guys will start off as real estate agents, and then before you know it, you got more clients than you can handle, and you're going to need assistance, you're going to need help. And so you start growing your team and you bring others into your circle. And in the same process, you're helping them grow their business, you're growing your business, and it is a win-win situation. And so Lisa heard about my school, naturally, heard about my school, and has sent me one of her first team members that'll be on her team. And I'm looking forward, already, the student's already excelling in my class. She's going to make a great addition to Lisa Bortner's team. And Lisa is also with Realty Mark. And I'm looking forward to helping her in the future grow her team and teach many more for her. Lydia Calix. Lydia. Now, Lydia is one of my students. And Lydia's gone a long way, ladies and gentlemen. Lydia's six-figure income already. She's doing very, very good. She's also with Realty Mark, and she's sending a lot of individuals to my class. She knows, she's been in my class. She learned real estate, and I'm real proud. Most of the real estate agents that you probably deal with, I taught them. I'm the professor. I'm the one that gave them the start, and what they know is what they are sharing with you and the public right now. So I have lots and lots over the years of real estate agents that have graduated my class and gone on. Lydia Calix is one of them, and she's got a Facebook page too that you can check out. But again, as I said, her last name is spelled Calix, C-A-L-I-X-T-E. C-A-L-I-X-T-E, Lydia Calix. And Lydia is growing her team because she now knows, because she's six figures now, that she can't handle it all herself. As her business is growing and she's making this income, she now realizes that she's in a position that she can help others make this kind of income and grow her business as well. So I'm very, very proud of Rich and Lisa Small, Lisa Bortner, Lydia Calix, and the fact that they are paying it forward and helping others is what I aspire to. This is something that I really admire, something that I really like. So I like to give a shout out to those who are helping others in the real estate arena and in life in general. So check out their Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, Lydia Calix sells real estate professional, Lydia Calix, real estate professional. Rich and Lisa Small, they have a page called Small Talk Real Estate and More on Facebook. You can check them out. And Lisa's just starting out. I'll give you some more information on Lisa as she's growing her team, Lisa Bortner. And she's also doing well as a real estate agent and helping others out. So a quick shout out to those. Now, these are team leaders, ladies and gentlemen. I work with a lot of brokers, as I said, Realty Mark. I have my own brokerage, ISS Realty, LLC. ISS Real Estate, ISS Realty. And ladies and gentlemen, even though I got my own brokerage, most of the brokers out there will still send their brokers, their agents to me for the best training that they can have. And I'm glad to do it, ladies and gentlemen, because again, as I said, by paying it forward, by helping others, it helps you in the same process. My school is growing, and I love saying this, ladies and gentlemen. This is my favorite part. So you ready? Thank you for your interest in attending real estate classes. We are the renowned and highly acclaimed real estate school that you will find throughout your search for a qualified and well sought after real estate school in Pennsylvania. We are Online Real Estate School Incorporated, Inc. I love saying that, ladies and gentlemen. I just opened up another school in Pittsburgh, and it's expanding, and very happy about it. A lot of energy. But what I've done is, over the years, I've been able to really put together a nice little system. So Online Real Estate School, Inc., INC. Now, we'll talk about this in the class, ladies and gentlemen. Should you go sole proprietor? Should you go LLC, limited liability company? Should you incorporate by an S Corp or a C Corp? Should you go big? Should you go syndication? Should you set up a trust? Why do you set up a trust and for what reason? And so we go over all these things. This is what makes my school the renowned school. My school is an 8-week class, not a 3-week class like you'll see with most schools. It's an 8-week class because in my class, not only will I prep you to pass the exam, but I teach you how to run a real estate business. And this is the fundamental portion of my school. This is what makes my school so successful. You know what? I love it. I have students who have gone to other schools, received their transcripts at the school, but can't pass the exam. Because, they went to probably a 3-week class or an online class, which is hard because it's a different language, ladies and gentlemen. Doctors have their language, lawyers have their language, and real estate has its language as well. And if you're taking an online course, not that it's not successful, but you need a higher degree of self-discipline to do an online course. You need to be able to learn real estate and real estate language at the same time, which is difficult to do. So a lot of online courses are not as successful because the students have a problem grasping the language as they try to maneuver the course. If you're taking a 3-week class, ladies and gentlemen, well, they're designed not to teach you the business. They're designed to prep you to pass an exam. Whether they do a good job or not, that's what they do. And they will take advantage of our want, our desire, our need to make it happen yesterday. We don't want to prolong it. We want to get to the finish line immediately. So a lot of these schools will take advantage of that and say, you can have your license in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, you can go on to be a successful real estate agent. Now, that's not necessarily true. It's not easy to cram 75 hours of language and knowledge into your brain in a 3-week class and expect a lot from that. It just won't happen, ladies and gentlemen, but it's good marketing. It is good marketing because a lot of people will go on a 3-week class rather than an 8-week class. Why? Because we'll get there sooner. but haste makes waste. And also, when you go cheap, ladies and gentlemen, you think, well, this class is cheaper than this class. You ever buy a cheap sofa? You know what happens when you buy a cheap sofa? A couple months later, you got to buy another cheap sofa because this cheap sofa is already breaking. It's already falling in. This is what happens. But if you bought a better qualified sofa, if you spent maybe twice as much on the sofa, that sofa will last years. But we always try to go cheap, saving a buck here or there. And sometimes that savings could cost us more. And when it comes to your education, I never recommend that you go cheap when it comes to your education, because this is what's happening right now. I have many students who have already received their transcripts from other school and cannot pass the state exam. And they say to me, I really, really want to be a real estate agent. I really want this, but I got my transcripts and I still can't pass the exam. And what they're doing is they're coming to my school and I'll give them a discount because they already have the transcripts. And I want them to succeed. And so I'll do whatever I can to help others. I'll even work some kind of a payment plan if need be. Whatever I have to do. Do I get burned every now and then? Yes, every now and then I get burned. And it's maybe not burned, but people quit. And this is one thing that I learned. I don't do it for nothing. When I let a student come into the class for no charge, they don't put a lot of effort into it because they ain't got no skin in the game. And so I've learned the hard way that you can't go free. You got to make sure that the student pays. And if they don't pay, then they're not going to be involved. They're not going to be dedicated. They got no skin in the game. And so you learn these things as you go along. But I'll make arrangements with you. I'll do whatever I can. Every now and then I do get burned. But again, as I said, in the long run, it all pays off better for me because those that I'm able to help pays back dividends for years to come. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are Online Real Estate School Incorporated. And again, understand the INC. This is how you'll find me. This is how you'll know, Online Real Estate School, lots of schools will pop up. But when you do Online Real Estate School Incorporated, because we'll talk about your business structure when you get started, then you're going to find me, top of the search engines, ladies and gentlemen. And no matter where you are, now that I have locations in Pittsburgh and in Philadelphia and we're growing, I can take advantage of Google's algorithm and work with local advertisement because that's what Google's big in. Google likes Google Maps and so forth. Google likes local advertising, especially Google My Business and so forth. So if you understand the Google algorithm, and you're going to need to understand this because you're going to be in business, you're going to need to learn how to make sure that Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google, YouTube, they're all working for you. And in my class, I'll teach you how to make these things work because you have to understand that social media gives you eyeballs, but it doesn't give you money. How do you make it money? So I teach this in my class, but a lot of people think they could do a post and somebody's going to buy a house from them. It doesn't work that way, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll talk about exactly the right way to use and not a lot of money. I don't want you spending a lot of money in real estate. Don't want you buying leads. I don't want you spending a bunch of money on website and SEO. So when I teach my students how to run a business, I teach them how to run a business on a shoestring, on a dime, all right? Because you don't have a lot of money. So there's a right way of doing it. And then there's a wrong way of doing it where you can lose all your money and not make any money, then you're out of business before you get started. So Online Real Estate School, Inc., INC, Incorporated, is teaching students every month the art of helping others with real estate matters, and it's opening the doors to some of the highest income our students have ever earned. Your future is bright, ladies and gentlemen. You're only 75 hours away from the start of a new lifestyle. And I always love looking forward to seeing you in my class. And I always love looking forward to making you a licensed real estate professional. Think about that for a second. You are licensed by the state. That's what this class is. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme class. This isn't an investment class. This is a class that is monitored and licensed by the state. You are required to take this class because my class is registered with the state to offer this class. And when you pass my class, my 75 hours, and receive my transcripts, you now are qualified to take the state exam and pass it. Yeah, I look forward to my high pass fail ratio compared to other schools. I look forward to you passing the exam. But my school is designed, ladies and gentlemen, that you are always welcome to come back to my classes anytime you like, free of charge, because sometimes when my students take my class, life gets in the way. And when life gets in the way, they can't immediately take the state exam. Something occurred. Then they have to wait weeks or maybe even months before they can take the state exam. And then they're not very confident that they remember everything before they take the state exam. And so my school is designed that you can come back into my classes again and again and again, anytime you want, free of charge, to re-educate, refresh, and prep for the state exam. So that's the one thing about my school that pretty much no other school offers that, ladies and gentlemen. I assure you of that. And so, again, paying it forward. So in my classes, I teach you how to run a real estate business. I teach you how to structure it. I teach you what the proper way of marketing your business on a dime, so you don't have to spend a lot of money. And in this process, I'm teaching you the business, which most schools are not designed to do. Most schools are designed to prep you to pass an exam, and some do a good job, some so-so. And so I'm glad about the so-so schools, don't get me wrong, because many of those students who went to the so-so schools end up coming to my class so that they can finally pass the state exam. And so one way or another, you'll probably be coming to my school. But we are the renowned school that you will find throughout your search, and I'm very proud of that, and I'm proud that we are growing in leaps and bounds. Now, my classes are live streaming. I run two businesses through the Zoom platform, ladies and gentlemen. I run my school through the Zoom platform because my students are from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, throughout the state. And if I had just a little local office in, let's just say, Harrisburg in the middle, that means people would have to travel from Philadelphia and Pittsburgh to come to Harrisburg to just go to a little local school. It's difficult. And so with the live streaming class and with the Zoom platform, I'm able to help students from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia and all points in between, east, west, north, and south. And so I very much enjoy the Zoom platform and teaching on the Zoom platform. But I've also taken the Zoom platform into my real estate profession. So issrealty.com or ISS Realty LLC, both, doesn't matter, issrealty.com or ISS Realty LLC. You can find me either way. This is my brokerage, ladies and gentlemen. And what I have done is I created the brokerage not so much to compete with my fellow brokers who send me all their agents to be taught, and I'm happy to teach them. I even give them shout outs like Realty Mark and so forth. Big shout out to Realty Mark. I've sent many students to Realty Mark and helped many students. And they're a good brokerage, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with them. So I didn't design my brokerage to compete with them. My brokerage is designed to be a college. And that's exactly how I treat it. So a lot of my students, after they spend 8 weeks with me and they get used to my teaching style and the motivation that I give them, when they go to work for another broker, they don't have that same magic, that same Correct. There used to be a word, I can't remember the word, but anyway, my old boss used to say it, but I can't remember the word. But the same magic's not there. And so when they go to work with another broker, they don't get that hands-on. And they're brand new. They really are looking for somebody to hold their hand, to show them what to do. But because the brokerages are so large, some have thousands of real estate agents, ladies and gentlemen, some have hundreds, but the larger the broker is, the less attention it's possible to give you. And so what a lot of brokers will do is hand that responsibility down to other agents to become mentors, or other agents that do teaching. And maybe they shouldn't be teaching or mentoring, as they really are just learning themselves. But that's what big brokerage have to do. They have to delegate. And sometimes that delegation is not exactly what a student's looking for. And a lot of brokers are not looking for brand new agents, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of brokers are looking for seasoned agents, agents that are top producers, agents that don't need any assistant. You can get started and go on your own. So some brokers are designed just for the top agents. That's all they want. That model doesn't exactly work very well either. There's another reason for that. But what does work is the beginning process. Taking a brand new agent right out of school, which I call the elementary portion, the 75 hours that you're doing is the elementary portion. And then you graduate and go on to college. And so my brokerage, ISS Realty, is the college. And now I take you from the classroom and I put you right in the field, working with the client, working with the contracts, learning how to negotiate, learning how to work with the title company, the lenders, the home inspectors. So it's on the job training. And I'm there constantly on the phone with my agents. It'll ring many, many times, as it has already done right during this 1 hour class. Even though my agents know that I'm teaching or in class, time comes they need me, they want to call. And they want somebody there to answer the phone or get back to them quickly. They don't want to be working for a brokerage where they say, nobody ever calls me back. Nobody ever answers my question. Every time I have a problem, there's nobody to reach out to. That happens, especially with the franchises, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see all these franchises out there, and those franchises are basically just too big. They're too big to give you that one-on-one, that hands-on necessary experience that you're looking for when you're a brand new agent. And so my school is designed to be the elementary 75-hour portion and the college on-the-job training. And I'm very, very happy. But here's what I need you to understand, especially my team leaders and my new brokers. Everybody that's in this class that wants to be in a real estate, that wants to be running their own business, everybody that you bring onto your team, every new agent that I take, they're not going to stay, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you need to understand. I see a lot of team members getting very upset. They say, I put a lot of money, a lot of time into this individual, and then they left and went somewhere else. That is the nature of the beast, ladies and gentlemen, because I told you everybody's an entrepreneur. Every one of my team members, every one of my agents have their own desires, ambitions, and dreams. They all want something different. They're not going to stay with me forever. If I'm lucky, they might stay with me for a year, maybe two, if I'm really, really lucky. But I am going to make them so good that they're going to start saying, you know what? It's time for me to venture on and run my own team, run my own business, run my own brokerage. That is a natural progression. Why? Because you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and everybody that we're affiliated with in the real estate business is also an entrepreneur. Everybody that comes to my class is an entrepreneur. They don't want to work for anybody anymore. They just want to move on to something better. My students are retired, worked all their days, and now they want to do something different, or they're fresh out of high school and all points in between. That's the beauty about real estate, ladies and gentlemen. It's a language that everybody can speak. Everybody can talk real estate. And when you tell somebody you're a real estate agent, don't you know the most natural progression is real estate? Oh, I always want to buy or sell a property. Kind of blends right out. So everybody can talk real estate and everybody wants to be in real estate. But those who do venture into real estate understand that they got a different blood pumping through their system. They are naturally entrepreneurs and they want to achieve more. So if you want to be a team leader, like the folks that I mentioned, Lydia Calix, Lisa Borton, Rich and Lisa Small, team leaders, then we need to understand that those who we are helping to progress, they're going to leave. They're not going to stay forever, ladies and gentlemen. And you will be majorly disappointed if you don't come to this realization and understanding. Just like a lot of brokers I talk to. I speak to a lot of brokers and they say, I put a lot of time and effort, then he left me to go with another broker. That is the nature of the beast, because in this arena, there's always somebody out there promising more. We can do this, we can give you this, we can give you that, we can go leave them, come with us, and we can give you this, we can give you that. And it always sounds so good and tasting. It always sounds great. until you get there. And then you realize the grass really isn't greener on the other side. But you were lured to this brokerage, and now, in for a penny, in for a pound, now you want to see if you can make it work. So again, ladies and gentlemen, understand that it's a pay forward situation. If you're not willing to pay it forward, if you're looking to, nobody's an employee, ladies and gentlemen, unless you want to hire them as an employee. You want to pay their social security, their unemployment, their health benefits. You want to do that. That's a different story. Let's start and think about that right here for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you, because my hour goes fast, you are currently working at a job. And the only reason that you're working at this job is probably the benefits, putting the time in and getting something. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen. You'll find out that the health insurance really isn't as great as you thought, especially when you need it. You find out the dental and the vision plan really doesn't cover what you thought it would. And then, unfortunately, you find out the pension, your 401k, or your social security might not be there the way our government is operating and frivolously spending right now and stealing. Let's please call it what it is, stealing and giving to others who don't even live in this country. So we're supporting other countries with our tax dollars. And were we ever asked permission? Nobody ever asked us if they could use our tax dollars for some of these ridiculous things like testing cats and whales and see what a whale does. And, what are we spending money on this stuff for? Not quite sure, but there goes your pension. There goes your retirement. There goes your social security, and everything that you worked for is being dwindled away. And you really don't have a lot of control over this. You do, but you seem to don't. And so understand, here's the other problem with working for somebody. You're starting to see now that your property, you are, ladies and gentlemen, you are property. And here's what I want you to do to prove it. You are known as peasants. The corporation might say to you, you're a very valuable asset to the company. We couldn't do it without you. That's what they say in front of your face. But behind your back, ladies and gentlemen, you're cattle, you're an asset. You are peasant. And what I want you to do is Google peasant insurance. Don't believe me? Google peasant insurance, and you'll see that many corporations take out life insurance policies on their employees without even their employees even knowing about it. And when that employee dies, the company gets a nice $1 million. And what does the family get? Family didn't even know. Now, I'm not going to be mentioning any company's name here. I don't want to get sued. But when you Google peasant insurance, you will see many companies that take out this insurance on their employees without their employees ever even knowing about it. Because the real deal is, ladies and gentlemen, is that you are a commodity. You might be an asset if you're helping the company make any money, but in the long run, you're a commodity. And as you can see, Walt Disney's laying off thousands of employees, Amazon and the others. And now what goes around comes around a little bit. So some of the employees have been crying and boo-hooing so much that I wouldn't be surprised if those are the employees that will be getting the boot. But in any event, they turned out not to be assets to the company. And now companies like Walt Disney is losing their own government. They're losing billions of dollars. And so are other companies. Some of these companies, they deserve it, to be honest with you. They made their bed, let them lie in it. So some of these companies deserve it. But here's the problem. As an employee, you are somebody else's property. You don't wear a mask, even though we're not in a pandemic, you're fired. You don't take a shot when we're in the pandemic. When we're not in the pandemic, you're fired. You don't do this, you don't do that, you're fired. All right. And you're at the mercy. You're at the mercy, and you're worried about your family. You're worried about your mortgage, your rent, and you're worried about these things. And you're at the mercy of somebody else, another company. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It's so easy to be an employee. It is so easy to be an employee. You'll do what you hate. You'll get up. You'll wash up. Maybe you won't, depending. You'll take the bus, a train. You'll drive to a job that you really don't like, but yet you'll do it day in and day out for the paycheck. because that's the easiest thing in life that you can do. The easiest thing in life is to be an employee and work for somebody else. Pretty much anybody can do that. But to go beyond that, to be your own boss, to be a business, a company, to be the boss, it requires a lot of energy, ladies and gentlemen. It requires some knowledge, requires energy, and understand that it's not for everybody. It is a numbers game. Do you think everybody that takes my class goes on to even take the exam? Some don't even ever take the exam, but they're very happy with the knowledge that they learn so they can buy their own house, sell their own house, and learn and understand the process of what's right and what's wrong. But not everybody goes on to become a real estate agent or get their real estate license. A lot are in my class just for the knowledge, just for the education. But being a licensed real estate professional in the state is an honor amongst itself. It's an achievement that no other school can offer, like my school, because you have to be registered and licensed to do this. And so having a license, being known as a licensed professional, a licensed real estate professional in the state of Pennsylvania, that's the first honor that you get. And you have achieved that, ladies and gentlemen. That real estate license is your golden ticket. It's your passport. That real estate license allows you to earn compensation. It's better than a PhD, in my opinion, because the PhD gives you a high degree of knowledge, but it doesn't give you income, doesn't afford you income. It affords you the ability to maybe find a job that can give you income, but the PhD is not going to afford you income. Unlike the real estate license, which is designed to allow you to earn income legally in real estate matters. So it is a unique feature to be known as a licensed real estate professional. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't think there's too many real estate agents out there, because 80% of the real estate agents really don't do a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about that in class. It's the 80-20 rule, and we talk about that in the class. But if you're in my class, if you're in this live stream right now, then chances are you are looking to do another stage in your life. You got that 7-year itch, maybe once or twice over. For the last 7 years, every 7 to 10 years, we want to do something different. We're tired of our job. We're tired of our coworkers. We're tired of our neighbors. We might be tired of our relationship. And now we want to venture off down another road. Maybe we're retired. Maybe we're fresh out of high school, and we're looking for a different road, something different that we want to do, because we've been doing the same thing for a while, and now it's time to do something different. We call it the 7-year itch. Every 7 to 10 years, we go through a biological change, and we want to do something. Some of you are twice over. Some of you might be in that 14 and 15-year period. You really paid the price, and you've really been hanging on, and now you're deciding, is it worth it anymore? Will the Social Security be there? Will the pension be there? And so forth. So you've given a lot of thought to it now. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the best thing that I ever did with my life is become self-employed. I haven't worked for anybody in a very, very long time, and never really was happy. Was always a good employee, always good at everything I did, always was an asset, but didn't expect much rewards. As one of my bosses used to say, don't expect a pat on your back for doing your job. That's what he used to say to me. And it still resonates to this day. Don't expect a pat on your back for doing your job. Kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. I was like, well, what the hell's the sense of doing a good job? You can't expect a pat on your back every now and then. But this is the reality. You are replaceable. You are a commodity. And no matter how much time and how good of a job you did, here today, gone tomorrow. And so what do you got if you lose the job? And so this is what we talk about, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you want that real estate license. This is something to fall back on, a security blanket, so that you're never at the mercy of somebody else. You always have something to fall back on. And having that real estate license and the knowledge in real estate is a very good course to take in life. And so, as I say, even though I might, it depends on which live stream you're seeing. If you're on YouTube, you might see that maybe I have 3 or 4 viewers. If you're on Facebook, maybe the same thing. As I said, this is not designed for a lot of views. Now this will play again in video, and in the videos, you'll see it picks up there. But in the live stream, I don't get a lot of individuals to appear. But those who do come to the live stream usually end up in the class because they understand after listening to me that there is more to offer that I can offer you in that 75 hours. This is only an hour, ladies and gentlemen. And in this 45 minutes that we've been together so far, I basically told you a course of direction that you can do and take, and how you can help others. As I said, there are some that are already in the process of helping others to achieve their real estate goals. So it'll pay a lot of dividends. But with the last 15 minutes that we get, let me explain some real estate to you. Let me ask you this question. You buy a property and you get a 30-year mortgage. Do you own that property day one, or do you own that property 30 years later when you make your final payment? All right. What's the difference between a deed and a title? All right, because you hear title and deed all the time. What's the difference? All right. So let's just take these two topics. Let's take the first question. You buy a property today here in Pennsylvania, and you get a 30-year mortgage. Do you own that property day one, or do you own that property 30 years later when you make your final payment? Well, if you've been in my class, you already know the answer to the question. But if you haven't been in my class, you might have come up with the wrong answer. And you might be saying 30 years later when you make your final payment. That would be the wrong answer. Wrong answer. All right. In Pennsylvania, you become the owner of the property day one. So what? You got a 30-year mortgage. Don't get the mortgage and the deed confused. The bank's name is not on the deed. The bank only has a lien against the property. If you don't make your payments, they can foreclose on the property. They don't want your property. That's what they don't want. Don't be understanding or misunderstanding that the government wants your property or the bank wants your property, the lender. They don't want your property, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the business they're in. They're in the money business. They want their money back for the loan. So your property is known as collateral, security for the loan. If you don't make the payments, they can foreclose on the property, auction it off, because they don't want the property. They want their money, auction it off, and hopefully get their loan amount back through the auction process. One of many ways of doing it. So understand there's a difference between the mortgage and the deed. Understand here in Pennsylvania, we are a lien theory state. As I said, the bank has a lien against you, against the property. So they'll give you the money for the property, but the property's collateral. So they have a lien against the property, but they don't own it. The deed is in your name. You become the owner of that property day one. Now, what's the difference between a deed and title? Because you hear this expression all the time. Here's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. We do not sell property by title. We sell vehicles by title, but we sell property by deed. So the deed is the written instrument. We transfer property by deed. So let's just say that Betty's buying my property, and the moment at settlement, the moment I hand my deed over to Betty and Betty receives and accepts the deed, Betty becomes the owner of the property at that moment. Who's Betty? I just made her up, just a name that I just made up. But Betty would be the buyer, I'm the seller. And so in this process, even though Betty might have had an offer to buy my property for the last 2 or 3 months, she's not the owner when she made an offer and I accepted. I said, I'll sell my property to you, and I accepted her offer. She's not the owner of the property yet. Betty becomes the owner of the property at settlement. She'll receive the deed and the keys to the property. It's at that moment that Betty receives the deed that she becomes the owner of the property. So we sell property by deed, but what is title? Title is a process, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure the deed is good. Starts with a title search, then abstract of title, then title commitment, then title insurance, and now the deed. So title is the process of making sure the deed is good. But here's the problem that we run into. The title company, which is really a paralegal, they have their own language, and their language is a legal language, and we have a real estate language. But our last part of the deal is known as the title company or the settlement table. And because the title company has their language, they'll use things like escrow and title, where they're talking about transferring a deed, and they'll say title transfer, but that's their legal language blending into our real estate language. And so you have to understand, this is what makes a problem. Just like earnest money. Earnest money is a big one, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of agents don't understand what earnest money is or what deposit is. And so let's do that real quick with a couple minutes left. What's the difference between earnest money and deposit? Because I would tell you 99% of the real estate agents do not know the difference between earnest money and deposit. You'll see many of them think they're real smart and they'll use the initials EMD. You need EMD on your offer, which stands for earnest money deposit. There's no such thing as earnest money deposit, ladies and gentlemen. There's earnest money, which is a legal term, and there's deposit, which is a real estate term. That's what you'll see on the contract. You won't see earnest money in our contracts, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't exist. You'll see deposit. And there's no such thing as earnest money deposit. There's earnest money and there's deposit, but there's no such thing as earnest money deposit. Just like there's salt and there's pepper, but there's no pepper. We don't have pepper. All right, that's putting salt and pepper together and calling it pepper. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. There's salt and there's pepper, but no pepper. There's earnest money and there's deposit, but no earnest money deposit. So we talk about this. What is earnest money? Earnest money is between the borrower and the lender. Earnest money. And so the bank is giving you a mortgage, a conventional mortgage, and you're putting 20% down on this conventional mortgage. So let's just say it's a $100,000 property that you're buying and you're getting a conventional mortgage. The bank or the lender is lending you $80,000 to buy this $100,000 property, and you're using 20%, $20,000 of your own money, skin in the game, to buy the property. So this is an LTV, loan to value, of 80-20, where you're putting 20% down and the lender's giving you the other 80%. So this is earnest money. That $20,000 that you need to buy the property is earnest money between the borrower and the lender. But you're not going to put $20,000 down as a deposit on your offer to buy the property. Probably going to start out with maybe $500 deposit, maybe $1,000. We'll work it up if we want to have a strong offer, but we don't certainly want to put $20,000 down as a deposit on the deal, especially if the broker's holding that deposit. If the title company's holding it, that's one thing. But if the broker is holding it, then the broker just can't release $20,000 if things go bad. And if the buyer and seller are at each other's throats because this deal is going south big time, it's not so easy to get your $20,000 back because the broker needs an addendum signed by both the buyer and seller. And since the buyer and seller are not at odds, they're at odds right now, they're not seeing eye to eye, that $20,000 could be held for a year before a judge could ultimately decide to release it. You know what the judges usually do? 50-50, give the buyer half, give the seller half. So there's a difference between the deposit and the earnest money. And there's no such thing as earnest money deposit. But you know how many people don't understand this? Because they hear the lender use the term earnest money or the title company use the term earnest money, and they think that's a pretty good term. I'll use it as well. You need earnest money deposit. You won't see earnest money in the contract. You won't see that. You'll see deposit in the contract. So these things happen, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see lots of these things happen in the business, like the word execute. Execute it. All right. A lot of agents use this. This is a legal word. And if you use this word incorrectly, it can get you into a lot of legal trouble. Here's an executed contract for your client to sign as well. Well, that's a big bad no-no on that email. So you just said, here's a completed contract for your client to sign as well. I don't understand what you're asking. If it's already executed, then why does my client need to sign? It's completed. We're done. Isn't that what you're saying? No, So you mean to say then here's an execute contract for your client to sign. You don't know the difference between execute and execute it. And there's a big difference. One letter, ladies and gentlemen, changes the whole term, the whole legal vocabulary of that word, execute and execute it. So this is why it's important to come to a class like mine to learn the real estate language. What's real estate language and what's legal language? We have lots of Latin words that we're going to need to understand. Lis pendens is one of the more common Latin words that we ad valorem. That's a nice word that I like to use, and why we pay property taxes and what our property taxes pay for. Most people have no idea what your property taxes pay for, and so forth. So we talk about a lot of Latin words. There's one French word that we're used for the life of another. We'll use that word, one French word, but for the most part, lots of Latin words. And so real estate is a different language, and you have to understand the language of real estate. Here's another thing that we learned kind of the first day in class, ladies and gentlemen, that your real estate not only includes the house on the land, which we call an improvement. So anything you build on the land, a house, a garage, a fence, this is known in real estate as an improvement. So we made an improvement to the land. We built a house on the land. We built a garage on the land. We built a fence on the ground. We built a swimming pool on the land. These are known as improvements. And that's a real estate language that you'll see on the exam. Improvement. What's an improvement? Anything that you build on the land, a house, a pool, and so forth. And so a lot of folks don't understand that real estate not only includes the things that we can build on the land, but real estate also includes subsurface mineral rights, things underneath the ground, and air rights above the ground. Take these two big buildings that you see behind me, ladies and gentlemen. They had to buy each floor in a building, in a commercial building, is roughly 15 feet. And that means the first two floors that you see, ladies and gentlemen, so this floor and the second floor, these two floors here, ladies and gentlemen, no air rights. But from the third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor of a story building, what we have to do is buy the air above the lot first before we can build a high-rise building. You cannot build a high-rise building until you first buy the air, and the air above the land is just as valuable. It's real estate, and it can be sold and leased independently, the air above the property. So one of the things that you learn kind of first day in my class is that real estate includes land, which is known as surface, below the ground, which is known as subsurface, especially in Pennsylvania. We're very rich in mineral rights, maybe not so much in Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Pittsburgh, but all through the state of Pennsylvania, we have lots of mineral rights and lots of real estate underneath the ground. But this big building that you see behind me, ladies and gentlemen, had to buy multiple stories below the ground for the foundational supports for the building. So that means the subsurface has equal value, as well as the air above the lot has to be purchased in order to build these high-rise developments and so forth. So we learn these things. We'll learn the difference between what's real property and what's personal property. I always like to use the example, what's a washer and dryer? Is a washer and dryer real property or is it personal? What about the kitchen cabinets and the chandeliers? Are they real or are they personal? How about the bushes and the lawn out front? You might think you know the answer to these questions. Chances are you'll probably be wrong. And these things could get us in the courtroom, especially a refrigerator. Is a refrigerator real or personal? Some of you might be saying real, some of you might be saying personal. Could be either or. And what's the caveat that makes the refrigerator real and personal? If you don't know, you could find out in the courtroom. So these are the things. Here's the last thing I want to leave you with, ladies and gentlemen. The minute that you take a lease and the minute that you take a security deposit for any property that's not yours, let's just say that your next door neighbor asked you to rent out their property for them. And you say, sure, no problem. And I'll just use Gladys as a name. Gladys is my next door neighbor, and Gladys is going to Florida. And she says, listen, I'm going to be in Florida probably a year or two. Can you watch over the property for me? Can you rent it out? You know, you can take a little bit. And you say, sure, not a problem. Be happy to do it. Now you're practicing real estate without a license. And the minute that you take that lease and the minute that you take that security deposit, because you better know the rules with the security deposit in this state, then you better have a real estate license. Otherwise, you're committing a criminal offense. You don't even know it yet. Practicing real estate without a license is a criminal offense in the state of Pennsylvania. Now, if this property was yours, it's not yours. It's your next door neighbor, Gladys. And so we're renting out her property for her, and we're doing it as a favor. No good deed goes unpunished in this business, ladies and gentlemen. This can cost you dearly. What happens if those people get hurt? What happens if the property burns down? What happens if somebody dies in the property? You're in a world of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You know, it's just like rooming houses. Oh, I'm so smart. I'm making about $5,000 a month because I'm renting out each room in a house. Chances are that's completely illegal. God forbid anybody gets hurt in that property. You better be really, really smart and hope you made a lot of money, because the lawyers are going to gobble it up. This is what I said to drug dealers. All right. It's a good business to be selling drugs. It's maybe not the best ethical thing, but you're making a lot of money. But guess where that money goes when you get busted, ladies and gentlemen? All that money you made hustling on the street goes to the lawyers to get your butt out of jail. And that's what happens in the real estate business as well, ladies and gentlemen. You do things wrong, it's going to come back to haunt you, and you're going to be spending a lot of money on attorneys to try to get you out where you thought you were doing a good deed for somebody, and now you find out you're in a whole world of legal trouble. All right. Airbnbs, finding out the hard way. Zillow, finding out the hard way. Certain brokerages, finding out the hard way, ladies and gentlemen. So real estate fundamentals deals with the law. Real estate practice deals with the business. My classes, I'm only offering 3 classes this year, ladies and gentlemen. I'm already out of time. Let me hurry up and do this. My classes started last week, February 7th. You want to jump into my class to start tomorrow? You will still learn everything you need to know to pass the exam, and you're always welcome to come back to my classes free of charge. So jump into my class. My next class starts May 9th, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be my next class. And I'm only running one more class this year because I have the college now, because a lot of my students are now with my brokerage and I'm teaching them on the job. It takes away from the elementary, the class. So I have 3 classes that I'm running this year. February 7th, that started last week. You can jump into my class starting tomorrow and still learn everything you need to learn to pass the exam and go on to be a business. You can join my next class, which starts May 9th. And my very last class this year is September 5th. I'm only running 3 classes this year, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm on the job now. I'm taking a lot of my students from the classroom into the field, and I'm teaching them in the field how to work directly with the client, how to work with the contract, how to work with the negotiations, how to find the property, do it all. And so that is consuming a lot of my time as well. So it is what it is, but I'm still teaching and paying it forward. So I am Warren Nelson, ladies and gentlemen. I've been doing this for a very long time. I don't like to tell you how long I've been doing it because I age myself every time I tell you how long I've been doing it. But I've been doing it for 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. I went and said it anyway. All right. So I've been doing this for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm licensed in several states, and I love teaching. I love paying it forward. And one of these days I might retire, but I am the renowned school, Online Real Estate School Incorporated. If you want to get a real estate license, you want to learn real estate, you want to learn the business, then I'm going to recommend my school to you, ladies and gentlemen. And again, as I said, you're always welcome to come back to my classes anytime you want. So those are my 3 classes. Starts tomorrow for some of you, May 9th for some of you, September for some of you, and maybe never for some of you, because here's the last thing I'll leave you with. As an entrepreneur, one of our traits, one of our problems is procrastination. We're darn good at procrastinating, John. We get it done most of the time, and we like to pat ourselves on the back, but don't we make it hard on ourselves? Don't we wait to the last minute? So as an entrepreneur, it is one of our flaws that we do procrastinate. And sometimes we just keep putting it off and never get to it. Don't let that happen to you, ladies and gentlemen. You only got one life. Enjoy it. Otherwise, you'll always be working for somebody else. That'll be the way it goes. Be safe, my friends. Be healthy. Be happy. God willing. I'll see some of you next Monday. I'll see some of you in my class. And God has his way. Everything works out. I will be seeing you again. So be safe, be healthy, be happy. As always, thank you very much for coming to my class. Don, a shout out to you, my brother. Don, one of my Filipino community friends. I love him. Always in my class. Shout out to you as well to everybody else. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure to bring this class to you every Monday. I hope to see you again next Monday or in my class. Be safe, everyone. Ciao.